Good afternoon, iPrep. How are you today? Hey. We have a little late start because of our wonderful Miami weather. A little bit of water. That's ironic. Where's Miss Keller? No, Miss Mueller? They don't. No. Where's my English students? What's ironic mean? Okay, they're going to be talking about water, but look at that. That's what's keeping us a little delayed today. Okay? So remember when someone's talking, what do we do in Mr. Palomino's class when somebody's talking? And what does that mean? Okay, thank you, sophomores and freshmen, because you know some of my junior friends back there forgot. Okay, great. So I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to turn it over to EarthEcho. I want you to be your best iPrep students that I know you are, and we're just about ready.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing? Good. Okay. As Mr. Palladino said, we have a little bit of weather issues going on today. So we got here first. Apparently, we drive the fastest. Sorry about that. But Philippe is going to be here in just a few minutes. He was in the car that left directly behind us. And then the other students from iPrep, from World Learning are going to be here shortly after them. They left just after Philippe. They're in a little bit bigger vehicles, so we had to move a little bit slower on the highway in the rain. Before Philippe comes into the room, because I know that will be very exciting, he is going to be hosting this hangout, but he's going to be hosting this discussion with Josh Carrera here. Josh Carrera is on the EarthEcho board. He's one of our board members. He doesn't work for EarthEcho, but he helps to direct and guide some of our programming and everything, the decisions that we make and everything that we do. And before we get started, Josh just wanted to tell all of you a little bit about how he came to work with EarthEcho and work on environmental causes. So Josh, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'll let you take it away.
Great, thank you so much, Allie. Before I get started, I just want to know, like, what range of grades are you guys in? Is it 9th through 12th? Yeah. All right, cool. So, like Allie said, my name is Josh Carrera. I'm 24 years old. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, bro. And I've never been to Miami before, so this is like the first place you guys are hosting. This is pretty cool. So, yeah, thanks. So a little bit about my background, how science has been a really big important role in my life and where I'm at in my career. I went to the High School for Environmental Studies, which was the first environmentally deep high school in New York City, in the country actually. And you know, I fell in love with science. It was a big part of my life. And then I went to college, and I went to college in Vermont, and I decided to study natural resources and ecological economics. And like Philippe, I decided that I wanted exploration and adventure to be a big part of my experience. So then I went to my studies to Latin America. So I've been to the crazy deep Amazonian jungles of Ecuador. I've been to the Amazon of Brazil, the Andes. So yeah, man. I mean, it's a crazy place down there. I mean, it's crazy. Anyways, right now in my career, I just finished grad school. I was in grad school from Mexico, and right now I'm back in New York City after traveling. And I'm part of EarthEcho. A lot of what we do is educational outreach. Right now we're down here in Florida for a mini expedition, looking at the issues impacting the Everglades, which is, you know, it's amazing you guys have this in the backyard. Because in New York City, we don't have anything like that. So, so what we want to do today is actually, you know, we had that little hangout yesterday. How many of you all participated in that hangout? Oh, the whole school. Oh, dope. All right. So what we want to do is, you know, one of the themes of our expedition here has been water quality. So just water issues in general. We were on the way over here. We were like, wow, we should really talk about water because there was a huge puddle, like rivers trying to get over here. So that's what we want to talk about. And I want to introduce Philippe if he's around, because he is an awesome person. He's really excited to meet you all. I know you're all really excited to meet him. So do we have Philippe? Do we have, not yet? All right. What's up? Yeah, no, not a problem. All right, so one thing I wanted to start with you all, something about water quality. Can someone give me a brief, just reminder of the results? Where did you collect your water? Where was that water collected from? One hand. Let me get one hand. Right here. What's your name? Amir. Where did you guys get that water from? The aquifers, and like where along here? How close to the school? Like 3 blocks. All right. So remind me again, what were the results? If you guys remember, like the oxygen, PO, the pH, and the turbidity. What's your name? Alejandro? Yes. Yeah. So what? So just give me a reminder of what the results were.
pH was neutral in 7. There was 8 parts per million for dissolved oxygen, and the turbidity was.
Turbidity was 0. Okay, so let's start with the pH level. So it was 7. That basically means it's neutral. But can you drink that water? You gotta check for bacteria. Sometimes it takes 2 days if you're still cleaning that water out. So based on the results that you guys got, why do you think those results were? What is it about this place, or I guess an urban area, that would result in what you guys found? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
Since we live in an urban area, it's logical for our water to have a lot of pollution, and it would really surprise the guys that anything neutral, you would think would be more acidic to traffic.
So I don't know about you. Do any of you know how? Do you guys? Any of you familiar with your sewer system here in Miami? You know if it's so for any of the teachers can chime in on this too. In New York City, we have what's known as a combined sewer system, which basically means that the water that we get when it rains ends up in the same tubes as our sewage water. Do any of you? No, I'm not too familiar with how Miami handles their water. What's up? Something else that I wanted to, I'm not sure where the World Learning students are, which I was really excited about for you meeting those students. There's 15 of them. They're from high schools in Latin America, from South America, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. Any of you guys are from those countries? Peru, Colombia, all right, cool, I'm from Ecuador. But those students have really interesting perspectives on water quality issues in their countries, because they have a lot of them from the countryside, and we face our own problems here in the city, whether it's acid rain, or managing our stormwater runoff, and a lot of that going into a lot of that picking up the nutrients in the agricultural zones and ending up in the Everglades. So hopefully they end up here, so you guys can get to talk to them. They're a really energetic bunch. It sounds like they might be here. So it sounds like Philippe is here. There we go, Philippe. Let's give a hand to Philippe. And the students from Latin America here too, so they're really excited to meet you all. So I'm going to pass it over to the mic to Philippe, and we're trying to get some interaction for you guys to meet students from South America.
Good afternoon. Let's try one more time. Let's get everybody in here. So, yeah. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. All right, so I just want to welcome our students from World Learning. We just spent the last 2 days up in the Everglades with this gang, and they are terrific. And let's have Ecuador stand up. Ecuador? Who's from Ecuador? Stand up. Everyone from Ecuador stand up. Oh, we have 12. Are we missing another band? Yeah, we're missing a band, so we only have half the. How about Peru? And Colombia. Who's from Colombia? Great. Well, it's pretty rainy and gnarly out there, so we just little longer to get here than we hoped. Nevertheless, we were planting bulrush reeds in the middle of a stormwater treatment area this morning. So we've been in the mud and digging around all day long. And then we were thrilled to come down here. You guys been to Miami before? No. Spend much time here, kind of looking around Miami yet? No. So this is the first time. So let's give them a big welcome. And I'm going to pass the mic back to Josh here, but I know that. Oh, here we go. All right. Well, yeah. Slide there. There's actually. Yes, good. Here's the rest of our guests from Peru, Colombia, and Ecuador. So, the whole point of this was to engage in a dialogue with you all, kind of a town hall, and to bring these students in to talk to you about some of the things that are some of the issues that are facing them in their community related to water, and to talk about some things that you guys are dealing with here in Miami, dealing with water. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of similarities. So I'm going to pass my back to Josh.
So now that we have our friends from South America, I'm going to start with them. And basically, I want to ask all of you, what are some of the water issues that you face in your country? So maybe your community where you come from, or your city. And then we can bounce that back to the students here in Miami, and we can talk about the water issues that you all face here in the city. So any of you guys want to talk about, or any one of the ones that just came in, what are the water issues that you face in your country or your city? Do we have any? And if you can say your name and your country.
Hi, my name is Vanessa de la Cruz, and I am from Medellin, Colombia. The problem that we have is that we have the Medellin River, and it's too polluted, it's so contaminated. Because of the factories, because of the trash, and because all this time it's having being so contaminated as it is now. So we have to do something now to change it because it's a big problem in our city.
So pollution in the Medellin River, big problems. We have right here in a lot of our cities here in the States, acid rain, and oftentimes our stormwater runoff affects our natural areas like we have here in the Everglades and the runoff from agriculture. So what are the issues facing you all here in your backyard here in Miami? Do we have any volunteers? Yep, so your name, and then just share with us your experience.
My name is Amaya, and some problems we have is like runoff, like pollution, like chemical pollution, like from fertilizer, and just pollution.
Right, and we were actually, and Josh, you should say hello here. There's the camera for the hangout. Hi, everybody.
Hey, hi, everyone.
And that's what we were, that's a lot of what we were spending time up in the Everglades learning about. How many of y'all have been out into the Everglades? Quite a few of y'all. So you're pretty aware, and all the rest, so all the World Learning students as well. And have you been through big parts of the Everglades, or mostly where, like Everglades National Park, or whereabouts? Everywhere. Pretty much everywhere. Okay, like all the way up to Kissimmee and the whole. Wow. All right. So big problems, right? I mean, Everglades, biggest wetlands in the world of its kind, totally devastated. Anyone tell me how big the Everglades used to be originally in acres? 20,000 acres, I hear. What else we got? 9 million acres. The Everglades. Can anyone tell me how big it is now? You guys have been paying attention. 3 million acres, right? So the Everglades is definitely a system that's in a lot of trouble already and a shadow of what it used to be. And so we were up there looking at some of the issues around stormwater runoff, fertilizers, all the same kind of things that are affected here. Anybody like to go snorkeling or diving or anything like that? So the Florida Keys, you guys spend time down in the Keys, Key Largo or Key West or something like that? So the Florida Keys used to be, is in some ways a big diving destination, and yet the runoff from south of Lake Okeechobee goes through the Everglades, ends up, and this is one of the things we were diving 2 days ago in Biscayne Bay, and it ends up in the coral reefs on Biscayne Bay, and that affects the health of the coral, which affects tourism, which affects, income here in the state of Florida too. So there's a lot of those types of issues. So yes, runoff is a huge issue, but is runoff an issue? You were talking about, that stormwater, issues around the river. So there's a lot of universality, right? Water is like the thing that connects all of us together.
Yeah, and I remember a colleague of mine was telling me that, you can go a lot of days without food, but you can only go 3 days without water. So water is an issue that no matter whether you're in Miami or in Bogota or Lima, Peru, water affects us all. So I want to shift the conversation over here a little bit to some solutions for projects that you guys may be working on. So I know that for the World Learning students and students going back to South America, you all have been brainstorming some projects that you might do in your home country. So could we have one of you share what you're thinking of doing so that the students here in Miami can learn a bit about what you're going to do back home? Any of you guys have a thought? Okay, I'll bring the mic back to you.
Hi, my name is Juliana Jimenez. I'm from Bogota, Colombia. And one of the problems that we have is about our wetland that is in my city. So one of the solutions that I hope to solve this problem is to create some groups of young people as us about trying to take out all the garbage that is in this wetland. Then I asked to one of the guys that was with us yesterday in our plant too, and he said to me that one of the possible solutions that we have is try to plant some of the species of plants that is near to this wetland in other wetlands. Try to transplant these plants, one of these and the other wetland. This is one of the solutions. So I really like to try to improve the conditions of it because it's so important. If you know, a wetland is an ecosystem so important for us. So this is one of the solutions that I have.
Thank you so much for sharing. So this morning, today actually, like Philippe said, we were out in the stormwater treatment area planting bullgrass as a way to reduce some of the excessive nutrients that get into the system. So that's one example. I'm curious to hear what you guys are doing here at iPrep. What kind of projects have you been involved with? So.
Maryland Premiers. Here in iPrep, we actually did an event last year about the being also cleaning up of the bay. So basically removing the plastic and the garbage.
Amazing, yeah.
What you do this year now? How do you top that? Only September, right? Is there a plan? You guys have any plans? You want to do anything yet?
Yeah.
Which club? K Club? Key Club. All right, Key Club in the house, yeah? Oh.
Excellent. So, anyone else from World Learning or from your Miami?
I'll get you the link.
And I participated more in collecting rainwater, and instead of distributing water from the tap to plants, actually getting the water to gallons and to put water to the plants.
That's a huge issue, actually. And that's an awesome project because I live in Los Angeles, and we are dealing with one of the biggest droughts right now in the southwestern United States that we've had in decades. And it's a big, big problem. It's a big problem, actually, for all of us. We get a lot of food from California, and they don't know when there's any solutions in sight. So LA spends, I think, roughly $1 billion a year buying water and $1 billion a year diverting rainwater out into the ocean. You ever seen pictures of the LA Canal? It's not even a canal. It's like, it used to be the LA River. They call it the LA River still, but it's like a cement canal. So whenever the rain rains into LA, channels into the canal and go straight into the ocean, instead of sinking down into the ground and staying there, as it should. So it's crazy to think we're spending $1 billion to get water, and we're spending $1 billion to get rid of water at the same time. So gray water, what you're talking about, is one of the best things that we can do in communities, particularly urban communities, to deal with this kind of issue. Rain barrels, using gray water to water our plants, things like that. Because that gives two benefits. One, we're not wasting fresh water, good, clean, drinkable fresh water. But the other issue is that instead of all that water going straight out into the ocean or straight into some system with all those pollutants, plants absorb those pollutants. And so then the water trickles through the plants to the ground, and it gets clean, and then it goes out into the ocean. Anything else? I saw another hand up. For one of the students from World Learning. One of the teachers was telling me about the river in Peru that is so polluted that is the main source of drinking water. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Hi everybody, I am Regina from Lima, Peru. I'm a biology teacher. And the truth is that the coast of Peru is a desert. So most of the cities are near rivers because those are valleys. But that's like 500 years ago. Now, the main river, which is used by the city of Lima, is the Rimac River. And the water is brown. There you can find sofas next to that, homeless people living right next to the river. But there are still animals that they eat, I don't know what, but you can see birds. But the water is brown and naturally smells really, really bad. And that is right across the city. So what is scary and surprising at the same time is that people get so used to see that every day that they think it's normal. That's the scariest part. How can you think that that is normal? That is fun. But the other side of the story, people don't think about what is we need water. That is the source. And the water is brown. Do the math. So what I try to do here with the students is we actually try to encourage them to think about these little details. Like you open the tap, there's water, and where did they came from, right? And that's the thing we're trying to, think about it. That's the thing we're trying to discuss here. What do we do? And I think what we did this morning, although seems little, about 2 hours of work, it means a lot to the ecosystem. And I think that's the message we are trying to convey. What did we do?
Awesome. Couldn't have said it better myself. So I know it's coming up on 3, and we don't have a ton of time left. So Josh and I thought we might see if you had any. We've been asking you a bunch of questions for 20 minutes. See if you had any questions for us or for the students. There were some students here from iPrep that raised your hands when I said, where are you from? Colombia, Peru, and things like that. So if you have any questions for your countrymen from Peru, Colombia, or Venezuela, or if you guys or not Venezuela, Peru or Ecuador, if you all have any questions for any of the students here at iPrep, or you have any questions for us, we've got like 5 minutes or so. Ask away. Not all at once. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Carrera. I wanted to ask you, when will you say that you have to be able to work with this and when are you going to say good enough if I have to my goals?
Never. It's never done. The work that we do is because this is an ongoing battle, right? I mean, this is a challenge for all of us. It's only going to get worse before it gets better, I'm afraid. We're dealing with some major and very serious environmental problems in the world, climate change, all the stuff you already know. And so unfortunately, it's this generation that's really going to have to do the heavy lifting on fixing a lot of this stuff, or else we're going to have some real major problems in all the things we know about conflict and starvation and all these challenges that climate change is going to cause around the world. And so I don't think it's ever going to end in my lifetime. And in any case, in terms of education, we have to keep educating every successive generation and empowering them to do better than their parents did. That's the only way the society evolves and life gets better, is if we can build upon what our parents did and take those movements and grow. So that work is never over for any of us. But it's fun work. So, I mean, listen, we get to go on expeditions and do all sorts of great stuff all over the world. So I think it's fun. Any other questions? Yeah?
I want to know, what's your earliest memory of seeing water contaminated?
What's the earliest memory of seeing water contaminated? You know, my grandfather and father were both French. My mother's American. I was born in LA, but that half side of my family is French. Filmmakers and documentary expedition documentary filmmakers traveled around the world for decades. I grew up spending a little bit of my time in south of France, and I remember being little in these beautiful beaches, just seeing trash all over the place. And that has been an occurrence. Of course, we've all seen trash on the beaches, but it's not just in urban areas. What I learned pretty quickly was, even if you go to areas where there are no people around, there's trash. And I have to say that I was filming a documentary series I was hosting for BBC a few years ago, and we were up in the Arctic, with polar bears and walrus and all sorts of great stuff. And I remember we're on a boat, and there's icebergs all over the place, floating ice, it's freezing cold. And I looked down at the water. We're actually diving, we were scuba diving under the ice. I looked down at this open piece of ocean, and I saw a flip-flop, sandal floating down. And I was blown away. We're in the middle of the Arctic Ocean, where nobody is wearing flip-flops. And there's a sandal floating by in the water. So even if you're, nowadays, there's nowhere in the world that isn't touched by human beings from a waste and pollution perspective. And so I continue to be shocked. No matter where I travel, there's plastic and junk and trash all over the place. And you know, maybe we think like, oh, one can of Coke, or oh, that plastic fly flew down, no big deal. But if you multiply 300 and something million people just in the United States alone, you start to get a sense of the big problems and why there's just so much stuff. The United Nations estimates there's about 2,000 pieces of plastic, large to small, in every square kilometer of ocean. Every single square kilometer of ocean. Not just the ones you hear about, the great garbage patches in the Pacific and stuff. But every piece of ocean has about 2,000 pieces of plastic per square kilometer. Any other questions? Yeah, right. Yeah. So how do we inspire people to care about science and fix the environment? That speech was a pretty good start, actually. That inspired me, actually. Because, frankly, what we're all about is helping you all be storytellers. A lot of the content, the reason we do these expeditions and put a lot of media content online is to show that science isn't just about memorizing formulas and periodic table of elements and all that stuff, but it has a bigger purpose and a reason. And that science is about poking something with a stick and seeing what happens. And how, you know, the challenge is to reinvigorate and reintroduce excitement and adventure and inquiry into science, and not think of it just as memorizing formulas. So a lot of the media content, I'm really excited about the internet and technology, how we can use that now. We can stream stuff, we can get videos, we can do Google Hangouts. For anybody who's watching Google Hangouts, you know, into the classroom, and for people to be able to see and take part in these kinds of expeditions, even if they may not be able to get to go to Peru or the middle of the Everglades or the Arctic or any of those places. So as EarthEcho grows and what we're doing, we're really looking at how we can type that right into the classroom and help you all understand. And then find opportunities for you to join us. I mean, there's certainly not huge volumes, but I mean, Josh was a student that we worked with, and actually that I met, and he, of his own initiative, growing up in Brooklyn, started doing amazing work around the environment and helping other young people in his community connect to nature. And I saw him speak at a conference with the Nature Conservancy up in New York, and I was like, this guy is awesome. He's doing amazing work. He's well spoken. He was up there giving a presentation, talking about his work, and we stayed in touch. And now he's co-hosting an expedition with me. Oh, you're 24. I'm 34. And so within it, you know, maybe 3 years ago, I think 2 years ago, you were still a student in university. We kept in touch because I was so impressed with the work that Josh was doing, and now we're traveling. He's on our board of directors, and we're shooting expeditions. So we are always looking for the heroes and the champions because there's only so much that we can do in terms of being storytellers. You all have a lot of power in your communities to help spread that word. You're going to be a lot more effective at that than we are. Another question. Who is your head? I saw someone in there. You got like just a few minutes. Yeah? Place to be rehabilitated the most. You know, we're really about storytelling and education. I've been really impressed with what other organizations have done in rehabilitating, particularly wetlands. In fact, the Everglades, in many cases, is a success story. You know, the Everglades was fundamentally just totally messed up. It's still in a lot of trouble, but it's gotten a lot better. And they're doing a much better job of regulating nutrients and pollution and trying to regulate the water levels in the Everglades. So the Everglades is a chance to bounce back. But back in the early 90s, it was just like headed towards just complete devastation. So Everglades is an example. It's the largest environmental restoration project of its kind anywhere in the world. Everglades Forever Act was passed in the 90s. So out your back door is a pretty good experiment. Pretty good.
I wanted to say that like EarthEcho should be also like implemented in communities. Like EarthEcho should be implemented in communities, and like is there like a way that we can like sponsor that or like incorporate it in the community so we can like spread the word and like get involved?
There's all sorts of different ways to do that. Yeah, I mean, a great example is the program that we're just taking over. We'll be launching something really hands-on and easy to get dug into. We have a program called World Water Monitoring Challenge, and this is really important. It's been going on for a few years. We're taking it over as an organization now, and it's a really hands-on ability, a tool set for you to test water quality in your community. Upload that. We're building an app straight to an online database that'll start plotting water quality over time all around the world, so that we can start to use that data to pressure decision makers. Because one of the big things politicians like to do is say, oh, not enough data, not enough science, so we won't act at all. We won't change anything. We need more information. And so we're building this so that communities all around the world can really get engaged in helping provide the data that we need to be able to pressure decision makers and politicians to say, it's pretty messed up, we got to do something. So World Water Monitoring Challenge is going on. We've got time probably for one more question. In the back of the World Learning, yes.
Change the world. And while you are remembering your father doing this work, in your work, this kind of work.
I've changed the world. I hope I've certainly inspired some people to do good work, to do better. I believe that it's a chorus of voices. Like, not any one person on their own necessarily can do that. And even if you look at the folks that we all think about that change the world, there's always a group of people around them and a whole team to make it happen. We're excited, really. If we do our job right, actually, it's not going to be that I change the world or that EarthEcho change the world. It's that we help provide the tools and the knowledge so you change the world. And that's, again, going back to that idea, it's not about us, it's about you. Because 1 or 2 or 3 or 100 people are not going to do it. It's a movement. And as we work so hard around the world with millions of young people to help them build that movement, that gets the kind of political change that we need to have happen in this country. We may look around and be like, Congress is a mess, and it is. It's not acting well enough in our interests, and that's true. But who's to blame? Who puts those people in office? We do. So the only people we have to blame is ourselves. and once we're 18 anyway. And certainly we have influence on our parents, though. Don't forget that, who they vote for. So fundamentally, we have only ourselves to blame. So we're about helping you change the world, not changing the world ourselves. I think that's the end. But I do want to say that so this is just the beginning, actually. Let's say this is the end of the beginning. Because what we're going to be looking to do is develop and facilitate some more of these Google Hangouts between you all at iPrep and the students in World Learning to continue talking. So with World Water Monitoring Challenge, a couple other programs with rainwater, rain barrels, cleanups, we want to stay in touch with you and hear what you're doing and stay in touch with the students of World Learning. And we're going to facilitate a couple of Hangouts for you all to communicate with each other some more. Build some relationships. And certainly, there's an opportunity if you connect it over Facebook and social media to do that. But we definitely, we see this just at the beginning. So we're going to be staying in touch with you all to hear the different kinds of things you're doing and how we can help and support you. Get engaged in your community, and then and we'll also do the same with World Learning and bring us all together. Josh.
Yeah, so I just build upon the point that Philippe made about connecting each other. If you guys want to check us out on Twitter, our handle is @EarthEcho. You can also follow Philippe on Twitter. His handle is @Philippe Cousteau, and also for the gram, when you're on the Instagram @EarthEcho. So why don't we get a selfie? Actually?
Yes, that's the plan.
We should get a selfie. And actually, so we'll hashtag, the hashtag we've been using is Expedition EE. So we'll take a selfie, hashtag.
So you guys all can retweet it.
So you can all retweet it.
Instagram it, whatever it is, repost it.
Alright, this is going to be the biggest selfie ever, so we have to coordinate that. Yeah, let's see how we can coordinate that.
So if everybody, yes, we're going to have to get up. We're going to have to maybe kind of move in a little bit.
Alright, everyone move in. Huddle in. Alright, this is what is.
Alright.
Put it on the screen.
Guys, oh my God. I'm sorry if I
Don't get too close, I won't be able to tell that. I will. But you can stay in there. Whoever wants in on this. Alright.
Alright, everybody, come on, huddle in.
Alright.
1, 2, 3.
Alright,
Here we go.
Okay, iPrep, have a good weekend. Be safe, don't get too wet.
Okay, I'm going to post this like that.
If I guess you're going to see me,
I'm putting it on the projection so everyone can see it.
You gotta think, this here, this stuff is right here. This thing is right here. You know what I mean? Look at yourself right here. Next thing is hello.
Did you end the hangout by any chance?
No, yeah, hang out is still
Okay, I'm gonna end this.